Welcome to the video demo series for Configure.IT. Unleash the hassle-free way to build bug-free mobile apps in the quickest possible turnaround time. So in this video, we're going to talk about how to handle audio files, video files, and image files, how to store them in the database, in the MySQL database, and how to store them in the SQLite database, how to retrieve them with APIs, and how to store things with APIs. So why don't we go ahead and get started. And the first thing we want to do is go ahead and add some fields to some tables. So we'll come over to our back end and we'll click on, we'll come up here to the MySQL database. So what we're going to do is we're going to add these to our app user. So we'll just click on app user. So what we want to do is go ahead and add some additional fields. And we're going to add 4 fields. And the reason we're going to add 4 fields is I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to store things. I'm going to show you how to store an image into the local database. I'm going to show you how to store a video on an Amazon server, how to store a video in the local database, and how to store a YouTube URL. So the first thing we want to do is we want to add the image. So we'll do v profile image. The next one we'll do is a v local video, and the next one will be v AWS video, and the last one will be v YouTube video. Alright, so we'll hit save and close. Now we want to go ahead and configure an API to insert these values. So we're going to come over here to MySQL API. Now we want to go ahead and add a new API. And we're going to call this API add files. And it will be user, and the input parameters will be profile underscore picture. We will do local video. Then the next one will be AWS video. And then the last one will be YouTube video. We'll click next. Alright, so the next thing we want to do is add a query block. And the query type we're going to change to insert. And we're going to insert it into the app user. Now we'll click on next. So now we want to go ahead and choose the fields that we're going to insert. So the first one we're going to choose is the user ID. So we'll select that one. And then we're going to come down and we're going to choose the profile image, local video, Amazon Web Service, and the YouTube video. Now the reason we chose the user ID is because we're going to use this field right here. So we're going to copy that field. We're going to use that in just a minute. So the profile image, we're going to choose profile picture, but we also need to come over here and add the image properties. So we're going to actually store the image on the local file server. So we'll leave that as local. The folder name, we're going to do profile picture. And what it does is the Configure.IT platform, if this folder doesn't already exist, it will go ahead and create that folder. And I'll show you where you can view this folder in just a bit. If you want your images stored in specific folders, for example, if you wanted all of your pictures associated with a specific user, or maybe it's a specific business, then you will actually put the ID right here. I'll show you how to do that in a minute, but for now we're going to leave this blank. And when you leave it blank, what it does is it puts all of the images in this folder right here, and we'll take a look at that. We need to add some valid extensions. So for this one, we're going to add JPEG and PNG. So you just type it in separated by a comma. If you want to limit the size of an object, you would do that right here. So for this one, we'll just leave it as 10 megabytes. The next thing is the local video, and we configure video and images the exact same way for this one. So for example, we're going to come down here and put local video. we need to add the image properties. We'll leave it on the local server, and the folder we're going to do profile video. Now for the create folder, for this example, we want to go ahead and have these in individual folders. So we're going to go ahead and paste the value that we copied up here, the IApp user ID. The valid extensions, it's going to be an MOV file, but we'll also have it as an MP4 in case someone wants to upload an MP4. Now valid size, 10 megabytes will be fine for us. Now the next one is how we upload video or images. Again, it's the exact same way to Amazon Web Server. And for this example, we're going to use an Amazon S3 server that hosts all of our videos and all of our images. So the way we do that is we come over here and select AWS Video. We add image properties. We're going to change the file server from local to Amazon. And now you see that it's changed from folder name to bucket name. And so we're going to click on this plus to configure the Amazon settings. So you can see here that it has some additional fields, has bucket name, folder name, server access key, server secret key, and then the server region. So I've hidden some of these just for privacy's sake, but we're going to go ahead and add in the bucket name, and we're going to add in the folder name, and you're going to add in your server access key and server secret key, and then select your region, click create bucket, and now we have our Amazon server configured. So if we want separate folders within our buckets, then we can just put the ID right here that we want associated with each one of those folders. Valid extensions, again, we'll do MOV and MP4 since these are video files. And then the YouTube, all we need to do is select YouTube video, and all this will do is just house the URL of the YouTube video. We'll click save. And now we just need to add a finish block. And we'll type in success and save. Okay, so now we can go ahead and test this query. So for a profile picture, we're going to come and click on the upload button, and now we'll be able to choose a file. And I've got a profile picture here. Now for local video, we'll click on the upload again, choose file, and we're going to go back and we're going to choose the opening. And then for to upload to the Amazon server, we'll click on upload, choose file, and we'll choose closing. And for the YouTube video, I've got a URL right here, so we'll just paste that in. We'll hit debug, and you can see here our insert ID is 16, and we've inserted the user ID, the profile image, the local video, the AWS video, and the YouTube video, and then these are the values that were inserted into each one of those fields. Now we'll close this and we can take a look at the MySQL database, and we'll click refresh. And you can see here's 16, and here's their profile image, the local video file, the AWS video file, and the YouTube URL. Now you may be wondering, where on the local server can I find these files? Well, first off, the AWS video, the Amazon Web Server video, is on the Amazon server, so it's not actually hosted in the local database. But let me go ahead and show you where you can find the profile image in the local video, because we did store those in the local database. And the way you get to that is you're going to come over to Project Management. We'll open that up in a new tab. And then you'll come to Resource Management. And you'll go to Upload, and you'll see here Profile Picture and Profile Video. So anything that you upload will be in this upload folder. So remember, we created the profile picture folder, so we'll click on that. And you can see here the profile picture that we just uploaded. So you can see there it's kind of a optical illusion type picture. So that's that. And then if we click on the profile video, remember the profile video, we did have it insert folders based on the ID. Remember our ID was 16, so the folder name is 16. So if we open up that one, we can see the opening master video right here. So that's how you can see where your files are on the local server. Now that we have all of our assets on the servers, now we need to go ahead and do an additional API to go ahead and retrieve those back from the server. So we're going to come back to our API and we're going to click on API configuration, add new, and now we're going to name this get user files. And the category we'll do as user. And the input parameter, we do need to add an input parameter, and this is going to be the user ID. So for this example, we'll pass the value 16. Click next. Now we need to add a query block. Choose our table, which is going to be app user. We're only going to return one record because we're only going to pass one user ID. Click next. So now we need to look at what values we want returned. So for this example, we only want, we'll take the user ID, the profile image, the local image, the AWS video, and the YouTube video. And so now we need to come over here and we need to configure these images. So we need to add the image properties for the image and for the video. So we'll click that. So now remember, the profile image is on the local server. So now we need to put the folder name, and the folder name was profile_picture. And remember, it was not in individual folders, so we'll leave the folder name blank. We do need to put in some valid extensions, JPEG or PNG. If we don't put these in, we won't actually get any images back. The width and height, if you want to compress the width and height, then you can certainly do that. If you don't put any values here, it'll return it as the same size that you uploaded it. If you want to change the background color, you could do that here. So now we need to add this, do the same thing for the local video. So we'll click there, and we'll the folder name for this one was profile video. And remember, this one did have the folder, so we want to come up here and use the alias key. So we'll copy that and we'll paste it right here in the folder field. The valid extensions, again, we're going to do an MOV or an MP4. And for the AWS video, again, the same thing. We need to add our properties. So we need to change from file server local to an Amazon. And we'll choose the bucket name and go ahead and configure this. So we'll put in the bucket name, the folder name, the server access key, the server secret key, and choose our region. And this one we did not put into any folder, so we'll leave that blank. Valid extensions, again, an MOV, comma, MP4. For the YouTube video, we don't have to do anything because all it's returning is a URL. We'll click Save and Next. And now we want to return all the values associated with the user ID. So we'll choose App User ID and choose the parameter User ID. And we'll go ahead and click Save. Add a finish block. So we just want to return all these fields. And for the message, we can just do success, save. So now we want to go ahead and test this API. And if you remember, the user ID was 16. We'll come over here and click debug. And there you go. So you can see the profile image from the Configure.IT server. Then we have the local video, then we have the AWS video, and then we have the YouTube video. So it's returning all the values that we need. So we'll go ahead and close that. So now that we have everything configured on the back end, let's go ahead and configure the front end. So I've gone ahead and added a page here, and we're going to go ahead and add the controls. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to add one image view and 3 video players to the screen. So the first thing we want to do is give it enough room. So we're going to add a scroll view. And what this scroll view will allow us to do is it'll allow us to adjust the size of our images and our video player, and we have enough room. So we'll go ahead and set this to 0, 0, 320, and the height we're going to put for 480 for now. Okay, so now that we have our scroll view, let's go ahead and add our image view. So we'll type in image and we'll pull the image view over. We'll just do this 0, 0. The width will be 320 and the height will be, I like 16 by 9, so we're using 320, so the height will be 180. So now let's go ahead and add our videos. So we'll add a video player. And the video player will be 180. The width will be 320 and the height will be 180 as well. This is going to be video local. So this will be our local video. And we're going to go ahead and add another. And the X position on this one will be 0 again. The Y position will be 360, 320, and 180. And this will be video AWS. And then we'll add a third one. X position will be 0 and the Y position will be 540. The width will be 320 and the height again will be 180. Now that makes our total scroll of 720. So let's go back to our scroll view. And we want to go ahead and content size 320 and we want to change from 480 to 720. Now the next thing we want to do is go ahead and add our data source. So we'll choose data source, add data source, and we'll choose get user files. For this example, we're just going to choose a static because we know it's 16. So we'll just choose 16, execute, and we'll go ahead and save. All right, so now we can close the data sources tab and we can go ahead and assign the value. So for the image view, we're going to select key name to data, and it's going to be AU profile image. And for the video local, select the key name to local video. So for video source, there's 3 options. The first option is a YouTube. So if you're using a YouTube URL, then you would choose this one. The second option is a web URL. So if your video is coming from a web source, then you would choose this one. For example, our AWS video, and also our video that we use on the local server will be coming from a web URL as well, because if we go back and take a look at the response, you'll see that it's actually a web URL. So we'll go ahead and do that. So here's our get user files. We'll go ahead and execute. And you can see that our local video is coming from a web URL. So for this video, we're going to choose web URL. So should play video in MP Movie Player is basically asking, do you want the video to play the default movie player, or do you want it to play in a web player? So if you choose yes, then it will play it in the default. If for whatever reason there's an error, it will then turn around and play it in the web player. Regarding the enable audio player, Configure.IT platform doesn't have a separate audio player, but you can turn the movie player into an audio player just by checking this box right here. You upload and retrieve audio files the same exact way that we do for images and for video files. External play button enable. What this will allow you to do is this allows you to have a separate play button in the middle. So basically what it'll do is you'll upload an image here. So we'll go ahead and do that. And we're just going to choose this help image. And what this will do is this will place this image right in the middle of the video player, so that when they select that image or when they push that button, it'll start the video. Now to use this, you have to have this should play video in MP Movie Player. You have to have that selected. Video quality is for selecting the quality from YouTube. So for example, if you choose HD 1080, it will play the video in 1080 if that quality is available. If it's not, it'll play it in 720 if it's available. If it's not available, then it'll play it in 320, so forth and so on. However, you have to have the video source selected to YouTube. So a local video, if you have local file selected here, local video will allow you to upload a video within the app. So basically that's the configuration for the video player. So this one we've assigned to the local video. The next one is the AWS, and we'll go ahead and assign this one. So we're going to choose AWS Video. The video source is going to be a web URL, and we'll go ahead and leave these unchecked. Then the next one is the YouTube, and so key name to data on this one is YouTube Video, and video source is YouTube. And the medium, we're going to go ahead and change this to 1080. Now the last thing we have to do is configure it so that when the page loads, that it will go ahead and fire the API. So we'll click on Main View. We'll click on Actions, then Load. And now we want to trigger an API call, and then choose our data source, Get User Files, click Save. So now let's take a look at it in the app. So now I've re-downloaded the project, and at the top you can see our profile image, and right below that is the local video with our custom play button. So if you tap that help, then it'll start playing. The third one there is our Amazon server video. You can see there it's the closing video that you see at the end of all of our help videos. And the last one is the YouTube video on our asset manager. So now that we have all of that working, I want to go through a couple of things. So we get a lot of requests asking if an audio file or a video file can be played in the background. And unfortunately at this point that can't happen. We also get requests asking how do you store video files and audio files and image files for offline use. So audio files and video files can't be stored in your SQLite database, but they can be stored in the video player. So again, if we go back to our video player and you choose video source as a local file, and then you scroll down and you can upload it right here. And if you need it to be an audio file, then you just click Enable Audio Player. Now, how do you do that with images? How do you make images available offline so they don't have to come from a remote database? And you can actually do that in your SQLite database. Now, the way you do that is you're going to upload the file to your asset manager. So if we go to our asset manager and we'll click on Asset Manager, then let's say we want to take this file right here and we want to be able to recall this via an API. So what we'll do is we'll click on that, and then we'll copy this name. So now we want to go to our SQLite database. So we'll come over here and we'll click on SQLite database. And we need to go ahead and create a new table. So we'll do Add New Table. And this one will be local images. We'll click Add. And the first field will be image name. And we'll just do this as a varchar. And we'll actually go ahead and remove the rest of them because that's all we really need. Save and close. And now what we'll do is we'll hit Update, and we'll choose Table Records, and we'll add a table record, and we're going to paste that name right here. Click Submit. Now we just need to configure an API. So we'll come over here to SQLite API. We'll add New, and then we'll add a new API. And this API is going to get local images. And the input parameter is going to be image ID. And we'll click Next. We'll select a query. And we'll choose our table, local images. And it'll just be one. And we'll go ahead and return everything and save and next, where the image ID equals our image ID, and we'll click Save. Now we'll click Finish, success, and click Save again. Now let's go ahead and test this API. So we'll come up here and type in a 1 and click Debug. And you can see here that it's returned our image underscore help underscore H. So that's working. So we'll go back to our front end. So now we want to go ahead and add this extra data source. We're going to click on Add Data Source. And we'll scroll down to the bottom, Get Local Images. And we will go ahead and just choose static. And this is going to be a 1. Save. Now we want to go ahead and change that main view so that when the view loads that it will call the new API. So we'll click on Actions, Load. So instead of firing an API call, we actually want it to trigger a local API call. And we'll choose Local Images and click Save. Now, for now, we can go ahead and delete these video players because we're done with them. So now the next thing we need to do is we need to go ahead and change the image source. So we'll click on the image view. The key name to data, we need to go ahead and change it to our local API call, and we'll just do image name. Now let's go ahead and take a look at it in the app. So we'll go ahead and re-download the project. So there you go. There's our image from our asset manager. So this is a great way for you to store images in the app and recall them later as you need them from a local SQLite database. Other questions that we get is how do you upload images or videos from within the app? So let's go ahead and take a look at that now. So the first thing we want to do is come over and add a picker. So we're going to type in picker. And we want to do an image picker. So we'll just bring that over and we'll drag it and drop it. And let's go ahead and adjust the size here. So we'll do 70. The Y position, let's do 230. The width will be 300 and the height will be 40. So the next thing we want to do is we're going to insert an image, and the image picker receiver ID, we're going to make it this image view right here so that when we choose the image, it's actually going to show up right here. So we'll select an object and we'll choose image view. So now the next thing is we choose what type of media we're going to be uploading. So for this example, we're going to upload an image picker. So we'll be uploading an image, and we can choose from gallery, from camera. So we can select both. And you can enable cropping or you can enable image editing. We'll go ahead and choose those. So if you want to set your image size, then you're going to use curly brackets, and you're going to put in your width and then your height and close it with a curly bracket. All right, then camera mode. Which camera are you going to take it from? You're going to use the rear or the front camera. Now the next thing we need to do is configure our API to upload the image. So to do that, we need to add an additional data source. So we're going to click on Add Data Source. And we're going to come down and we're going to add user files. Remember, this is the first API that we made. And the profile picture we're going to do as a form object. Now you actually have a couple of options here. You can either use the image picker or you can actually use the image view. So we're going to choose the image view. We're going to click Save. We also have the local video and the AWS video and the YouTube video as part of this. So for this one, we're just going to choose a form object there because they're required fields. We'll come back and adjust it later, but we'll just do the image picker for all these. Okay, and then we'll click Execute and Save. So now that we have the data source added, we need a way to go ahead and fire that. So we're going to close the data source box, and we have the image picker selected. We'll click Actions, and when the image is picked, we want to go ahead and have the API fired. So we'll choose Trigger Data Source API, and we'll add user files, and we'll click Save. So now let's see what it looks like in the app. Alright, so now we can pick an image, and we'll choose an image of my wife and daughter, and you can see here's where we can crop the image. We'll select Choose. Now here's where we can edit the image, but in this case we'll go ahead and choose Done. And as you can see there, now it's uploading. And there you go. Now we've uploaded an image. So let's take a look at it in the database. So we'll come back to our database, and we'll select Refresh. And there you go. There is our extra image right there. Now, how do you upload a video? Well, let's take a look at that. Let's go ahead and select this pick image, and we're going to just clone it. Okay, we'll click OK. And let's just go ahead and drag this down, and right there will be just fine. So now we want to go ahead and edit some of these configurations. The first thing we want to do is image picker image receiver ID. We want to go ahead and remove that. So you don't have to remove this. If we left it the same, what it will do is it will actually take a clip and display a clip in this image view. Now, so in this instance, we want to still use this image picker and receive it right here in the image view. So the next thing we want to do is come down here, media picker type. We want to choose a video picker. And again, you can choose from camera or from gallery. In this case, we'll just do from gallery. Select your video quality. We'll just do a medium. And for camera mode, if you've selected camera, are you going to take the video from the rear camera or from the front camera? So the next thing we want to do is come down here, instead of pick image, we want to say pick video. Okay, so now that we have two things that we're going to be selecting, the pick image and the pick video, we want to remove the API call from this pick image because we don't want the API called until we've done both things. So we'll click on Actions, Image Picked, and we'll just delete that case. Now we also need to go and change our data source, and we want to add user files. We want to edit this one, and we want to go ahead and remove so for all of our video sources, we're going to use the video picker. So as you recall, when we were doing the image, we were able to use the form object in the image view. However, when you're doing an audio file or a video file, you don't have that option. Even if we were to have the picker assigned to an image view, you still can't use the image view as the ID. So there is, if you go to session, there is a unique session variable called temp video path. When you're uploading a video file, this is what you want to use as the input parameter. So we'll go ahead and change all these to session. Temp video path, and as you can see, if you were doing an audio, there is an audio path as well. So we'll do video path, and now we just need to change it for this last one, and we'll do temp video path. Execute and save. So now let's take a look at it in the app. Okay, so let's go ahead and pick another image, and we'll choose one of a basketball court. Done. And now we'll go ahead and pick our video, and we'll do a video of someone playing basketball. So we'll go ahead and click choose, and you can see that it's uploading. So there you go. That's how you can configure images and videos and how to store them in the MySQL and SQLite databases. For more information, visit our Help Center or stay connected via Support Ticket Portal or live chat, where our support team will assist you. Keep configuring.